What if the Roman Empire never collapsed? What if the greatest empire in human history never ended? What if, instead of crumbling under barbarian invasions, debt, and civil war, Rome adapted and survived? We're not talking about a Rome frozen in time. We're talking about a Rome that evolved. A Rome that looked at the crisis of the 3rd century, fixed its political rot, and marched forward into a future it should have owned. This is that story. The fork in the road. The year is 376 AD. The Visigoths stand at the Danube River, begging Rome for a refuge from the Huns. In our timeline, Roman officers exploit them. They're humiliated, starved, pushed to revolt. 2 years later, at the Battle of Adrianople, they annihilate a Roman army and Emperor Valens dies on the battlefield. That's the crack in the dam. But what if Rome handled this differently? In our alternate timeline, Valens makes a smarter deal. The Visigoths are integrated not as slaves, not as refugees, but as federated with real land, real rights, and real loyalty. The military gets the manpower it desperately needs. The treasury gets taxable citizens. And the Huns, they push west and find a unified Roman frontier waiting for them. One decision, everything changes. The survival of the empire. By 400 AD, Rome doesn't just survive, it restructures. Think of it like a company on the verge of bankruptcy that finally gets serious leadership. The Senate's power is curtailed. The military is professionalized. Tax collection is overhauled. And here's the key. The Eastern and Western empires stop competing with each other and start actually cooperating. Constantinople, rich, Greek-speaking, trade-connected, becomes the financial engine. Rome and Carthage remain the military and cultural heart. Together they stabilize North Africa, hold the Rhine, and push the Huns back east into the steppe. A different world taking shape. The 5th century, instead of being an apocalypse, becomes a renaissance, and without the fall, there is no dark ages. Let that sink in for a moment. Here's where it gets fascinating in our timeline. The collapse of Rome didn't just erase roads and aqueducts. It erased networks, trade, legal, and intellectual networks. Literacy plummeted, cities emptied. Centuries of accumulated knowledge went dark. In this alternate world, those networks survived. Greek philosophy, Roman law. Egyptian mathematics, Mesopotamian astronomy. They don't get locked in monastery vaults. They keep circulating, they keep evolving. The Islamic Golden Age still happens. Islam still rises in the 7th century. But instead of filling a power vacuum left by Rome's absence, it encounters a living empire. There's conflict, certainly, but also commerce, and eventually, there's dialogue out of scholars, debating Greek philosophers in Roman academies. A cross-Mediterranean conversation that could have accelerated science by centuries. The politics of an eternal empire. Now let's be honest about the dark side. Because good alternate history is not propaganda. A surviving Rome is not a utopia. Slavery remains central to the economy for centuries longer. The empire's authoritarian streak doesn't disappear. If anything, survival pressure makes it worse. Regional cultures, Celtic, Germanic, Berber, Semitic, are absorbed often violently. The homogenizing force of Latin and Roman culture erases languages and traditions that in our world survived precisely because Rome fell. And here's a haunting thought: democracy as we know it may never emerge. In our world, the feudal chaos that followed Rome's fall eventually created space for independent cities, for merchant republics and parliamentary experiments. Magna Carta, the Italian city-states, the Dutch Republic. In a world where Rome never fell, those cracks never open. The empire controls everything, and empires, even enlightened ones, don't willingly surrender power. So what do we lose by keeping Rome alive? Maybe the very conditions that created modern liberty. Let's fast forward to the year 1000 AD and look at the map. Rome, now more of a constitutional empire. Imagine that something between ancient Rome and the Byzantine Empire controls all of Europe west of the Rhine, North Africa, Egypt, and parts of the Near East. Its capital has shifted. Some historians in this timeline call it Nova Roma. A city that is half Constantinople, half something entirely new. Christianity is still the dominant religion, but without the political fracture of the medieval church. No pope asserting independence from a collapsed empire. The church remains firmly under imperial control. There's no crusades as we know them. There may, however, be massive Roman Islamic wars fought over the Holy Land and trade routes. The Americas, still uncontacted. But with Roman maritime technology continuing to develop uninterrupted, Norse-style exploration happens earlier, and Roman ships are better. First contact with the Americas could happen as early as the 11th or 12th century. When a Roman legion sets foot in what we call the Caribbean, it doesn't come as lost conquistadors, it comes as an empire. The haunting question. Here's the deepest question this thought experiment raises. Was Rome's fall a catastrophe, or was it somehow necessary? The chaos that followed, as horrifying as it was, reshuffled the deck. New peoples rose. New ideas formed. The pressure of competition between dozens of small European kingdoms drove innovation in ways a unified empire might never have needed. Some historians argue that conflict is the engine of progress, that the very fragmentation of post-Roman Europe created the hunger, the rivalry, the desperation that eventually launched the scientific revolution, the industrial revolution, democracy, and the modern world. If that's true, then Rome had to fall for us to exist. The Romans themselves had a phrase, "Sic transit gloria mundi," thus passes the glory of the world. They said it as a reminder to emperors during their triumphs that everything ends. But what if it didn't? What if the glory didn't pass? It just transformed, adapted, mutated into something we wouldn't recognize, but might still call civilization. We will never know. The Western Empire fell in 476 AD, and the world moved on. But the next time you drive on a street, on a road, next time you sign a contract, or stand in a courtroom and hear the words, "Innocent until proven guilty," remember, Rome never really died. It just changed its name. And it's still here,